Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This essay is called MonoMind. You think you're a free thinker, but increasingly, you're not. Society's mind molders, the schools, the colleges, the media, and mainstream churches tend to speak with a liberal voice on everything from race to redistribution, energy to editing genes. In turn, the most powerful knowledge transmission vector, generative AI, like Google Gemini and ChatGPT, reflects that consensus. That accelerating narrowing of responses doesn't just come from their built-in liberal bias, but because Gen AIs prioritize inoffensiveness to a populace that is educated in the liberal zeitgeist. And because Gen A, quote, guardrails, that's their sanitized term for censorship, also avoids extreme ideas. That screens out ideas that are potentially breakthrough, but also ideas with some possibility of danger. Hence, Gen AIs defend their censorship with another mollifying term, safety. So Gen AIs tend to ignore or smooth content that doesn't comport with their guardrails. Smoothing is insidious. The Gen AI then softens an idea's impact by saying it's merely one of many possible viewpoints. Or the Gen AI encourages the query writer to soften the claim to make it more palatable, when its net result is to emasculate the idea's power to persuade. All these AI machinations constitute an alignment tax. In attempting to align its responses with the liberal orthodoxy, some worthy thoughts, especially breakthrough ideas outside of the orthodoxy, are excised, excise tax. MonoMind will get ever narrower because countervailing forces are small, having been squashed by the 3 C's of censure, censor, and cancel. And if any idea survives that gauntlet, Gen AIs will ignore or smooth it. That narrowing of thinking will quantum leap in just a few years because of brain-computer interface, BCI, which already is used to improve function in the severely disabled. Our ideas, which are electrical impulses, will be transferred from the chip in our brains to the Gen AIs and incorporated into query responses. Or, if a thought is outside the guardrails, it'll get deleted or smoothed. So we are less likely to think outside the box in hopes that idea will be heard, because we know it's ever less likely to be. Side note, I do believe that Google, which owns Gemini, will win the race for Gen AI hegemony, not just because of its world-best and ever-updating corpus, 1 to 2 million tokens and growing, but because Alphabet, that's Google's parent, has the money to control AI end-to-end, from energy for data farms to best possible integration of AI with other resources. Alphabet also has the money and influence to force competitors to sell out to Alphabet in the same way as mom-and-pop drugstores and hardware stores were forced to sell out to national chains like CVS and Home Depot. My tone heretofore has been lamentation, but the result will be a net positive. After all, whether it's addressing energy or human innovation, it's tough to argue that the Gen AI, which instantly, without friction, distills the collective wisdom of the world, even though it has a liberal finger on the scale, is worse than, say, the Encyclopedia Britannica. Of course, MonoMind comes with costs to brilliant iconoclasts and to the potential beneficiaries of their thinking. But we must be utilitarian. What will end up doing the most good for the most people? That is, what will optimize gross world flourishing? If that's our frame, it's clear that the benefits of Gen AI outweigh. But what's that brilliant iconoclast to do? Fighting it, even with a large cabal of fellow worried geniuses, will fail. They'd be facing an ever more viscous moat between them and the castle of influence. Or if you prefer a different metaphor, they're a mere thimble against a tidal wave to be drowned in the undertow. With either metaphor, fighting Gen AI wastes their ability. Per the song The Gambler, you gotta know when to hold 'em, when to fold 'em, and when to walk away. A brilliant iconoclast is wise to reorient where their ideas can land and be implemented. MonoMind makes that ever more likely in a macro way but the brilliant iconoclast retains some viability within their small sphere of influence, friends, a well-curated mailing list, and so on. Because such activities are usually less time-consuming than trying to be a big-time influencer, that may create time for balms, pleasures outside the intellectual. For me, it's long walks with the dog. Okay, I do it while thinking about what to write. Also, I do all manner of creative things that aren't pure brain power. For example, I'm creating a show now in version 3.0 called Not Your Average Church Lady. Yeah, it uses my brain power, but also related abilities like musicianship, humor, coordinating a zillion moving parts, and bringing out the best in my star, a wonderful and talented woman. Of course, brilliant outliers aren't all alike. You must create how much of your time to spend on pure intellectuality and how much to branch out. In any event, Gen AI's influence on our lives will continue to grow, and we should try to temper any resentment by remembering that its net impact is already positive and will only get more so, from addressing inequality to curing cancer. I do hope that educators will embrace Gen AI more than they have previous ways of technology. Schools really should teach kids how to use AI to improve their lives, society, and their critical thinking, including as a check for MonoMind. Gen AI could be our greatest hope. In any event, that's MonoMind. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 36 books. Perhaps most relevant is Thought Experiments, but all 36 are on Amazon. In any event, I thank you for watching. Hey, I'm Marty Nemko.